Hello! Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Astropub. Sorry, I realized I forgot to take off the, this way, and this way a little bit. No. Problem with having cats. Oh, I was going to change the camera. Camera looks like I'm red. I'm not that red. Of course. What's up, everybody? Welcome. We're going to do the Captain's Table is back. We're going to be doing a we'll be doing a call-in show. There it goes, a little bit like it. Wee, purple. Am I see-through? Yeah, not really. A little bit. There we go. Not so much. No, not so bad. Oh, it's the other way. Need to go down. There we go. Paul, have you seen the new mining and scanning changes in 4.9 yet? I have not, and I'm planning on booting it up and looking at it right now. Launch the game. Make an announcement on Discord. Just seen Sully Mike video on YouTube, and he is very happy with the changes they have done. Okay. I'm not much of a miner, so I don't know the major issues with mining, if there has been. One thing I have noticed is that it's a lot harder to mine in in 4.9. Like, I couldn't mine some rocks for Reco, even though Nix, Levski. Well, like basic iron asteroids, you couldn't fucking crack with a prospector. It was like, what? With a prospector? That's good. I'll be right back. That Femeline. Is Femeline any good for anything? Is it good in like mining or crafting? Rentals. Gotta love, yeah, totally updated CIG. I love the fixes you've made.
Thanks for taking the job.
Okay, yeah, seriously, what the fuck happened to Rekko? I don't mind the original concept, but I think they've downgraded her like model. Seem to be shields. Military and stealth shield seems okay. They may have her new model, just hasn't been pushed to. This is just for scanning. So let me see if I can't do them with my Mercury. I haven't recopied my count in a while, so I should probably do that at some point. What does the 4 at the bottom stand for? There we go. I think scanning rocks has to be done with a mining ship for the mining mode, or for mining mode. Okay. So I think Twitch is the best model for mission givers, but maybe because they gave her the most small details. Hey, Elsinore. Hey, Radar Echo. I screwed up and forgot to do the combined...
Them biddies.
Today SC has crashed my computer twice, exploded my ship 3 times for no reason, and dropped me through the geometry twice.
So it's only a average day rather than a bad day. Thank you for that, them biddies. Yeah, I had last week Star Citizen crashed my computer twice. Like full blown, had to shut it down, restart. Had to do a full like almost recovery from it. Usually it's worse. Okay, I'll take the golem out. So the topic for today's Captain's Table's call-in show. So if you want to join us, you will join us on Discord. Hey, Inquisitor, how you doing? Is it Hilder? Is more about how are you dealing with the doldrums. It's sort of like, what is your current experience in Star Citizen, and do you think do you have faith in the near future of Star Citizen to get better? No, I don't like, I make that joke because it's true. You are, in fact, the canary in the coal mine. If there's a bug that's going to happen, it's going to hit you. It's kind of like Aimless. I don't know if Aimless is here. Is like, if Aimless is having a fucking awful time with technical issues, then Star Citizen is got problems. If Aimless is only dealing with minor technical issues, then Star Citizen is in a decent place. I play DayZ, so I know all about fucking gaming, about fucked gaming. Man, as an original Bean Bandit, I feel that. Star Citizen's a faith-based product. I mean, it kind of is. Like, a lot of Star Citizen lives or dies based off of how people feel about the game. I'm in 4.9 right now, so I want to see how it works.
Welcome aboard your Drake interplanetary craft. Your systems are online.
Love this song.
Landing gear up.
First test step. Did the ship despawn upon leaving the hangar? Yeah. I'm just interested in, because I've seen a lot of talk online from people who are kind of newer to the community who came in recently in the last like year or so. who are like, how the fuck do you people deal with the game being like this? And it's made me go, oh, right. There are people who aren't used to this, because like last year was very different in terms of the experience.
Landing gear down. Shield system offline. Landing gear up.
I mean, and quite literally, yes, for some of these people, it is their first time dealing with this stuff. I don't know how you would test ship cleanup. What the fuck is going on? I don't have any, like... Button 5. Why can't they make a timer based off of interaction? They do already. The problem is that they also have a timer based off of like where the location of the ship is when it like is no longer there and that kind of thing. It's wreckage and debris. Is that all we got over here? Violence. Like the 15-minute body in DayZ. Yeah, I think the problem is that CIG and Chris specifically has this idea of has this idea of what he what people call the
Shield system online.
raw ice. The cup of the another cupcake, the coffee mug problem. The way that Chris has always defined how interaction should work in Star Citizen is he should be able to put a coffee cup down in the woods and then come back 3 months later, and if nobody has touched it, that coffee cup is still there. And the reality is that Chris had an interesting vision, but I think he's coming up against the realities of that's just far too many things to store in the back-end memory. Yeah, that's the generally I think the understanding, but the problem is that Chris Roberts is the be-all and end-all of the game. So like if everything has to go through Chris has to make all the final decisions. So if Chris can't be convinced that his idea is unrealistic, then they're just going to keep pounding their face against the wall. Yeah, that scanning is much faster this time. Yeah. It's interesting, but it's also one of those things where it is what it is, his game, yeah. But I think he's going to start to realize there are limitations to technology that even Chris couldn't deal with, even though it's, you know, the future compared to when he was making games. And there's also a difference between can you do it and is it fun? Like, could Chris possibly do it? Absolutely, he could possibly do it. That is a definite thing that could exist in video gaming. But would it be worth it and would people enjoy it? The answer is generally, yeah, probably not. I think there are ways to compromise to get something like that. Like, for example, you could have things that you could set to a longer timer that players would have things that would persist longer simply because they set them down specifically to persist. Like underground caches or boxes that have specific longer despawn timers. And it's like, oh, well, what's the inverse reason for it? Or why is this different from the other ones? Because it's made of different materials. Because it's designed to be weatherproof and the rest of the stuff is just cheap. And in game, it just makes it so that you can despawn all of these huge fucking items and all these little bits and pieces which no one's going to interact with and nobody cares about. Because it's a road carrier, not a cheap styrofoam cooler. Exactly. Because this coffee mug is made out of fucking steel. Vexilite. Try not to get out of the ring. Because I think out of the ring is just wreckage. Man, I made a new bot, did an API to Luna 5.9, and I wish it was funny. Yeah, the problem with Chris's desires, he leaves the coffee cup in the woods, and when he comes back 6 months later, not only his coffee cup, but also there's also 10,000 other coffee cups that the players left him as gifts. Yeah. But they sure do clear out the gifts we leave for Anthony Tanaka, don't they? Exactly. Exactly. What do you mean this company's cooked if they're hiring and using data analytics already? I don't get the logic there. Oh, but metrics concurrency, yeah. That is sort of a problem. It's that CIG is looking at metrics like concurrency and other things like that as their main driver, and not looking at the gameplay they're trying to build. Did they take aluminum out? I don't know, so I don't know where oh, that is a Crusader. That is a C2, 2951 Best in Show. Well, it makes sense for the live game portion. And there are things that I can think that they... let's go to Pyro, because Pyro is probably going to be the place that has stuff.
Shield system offline. Quantum drive is now on.
Like, there are a couple things that they have come to realize, which are good things. Like, for instance, the new player experience sucks. And it's like, yes, you should work on the new player experience. The issue being that CIG is focusing on the new player experience of a game that isn't finished yet. And they've already been down this path before, where anything from the new player experience... Actually, wait a second. I gotta do this in knit, right? They have the QV breaker stations. Oh, I see. They're in a like a loop around.
Quantum fuel is at 75%.
I'll get to Pyro Gateway and get refueled and go to one of the alphas. So the Glacium ring doesn't have any aluminum, so I'm guessing maybe the outer ring does. I've never been there before. QV has super rare loot like gold, Gildan gear, and special XP suits. They do, but typically the breaker stations are ones you have to get off of your Moby. But here they're just on the fucking Moby standard. That's a change, because I'm in 4.9 PTU, so. PS was not great. Final days of 3.17 played so good before 3.18. Yes. This is a current bug. Okay.
Quantum drive is now off.
All right, if I do go offline, note that it's not be wary that I could go offline because we've got a big storm coming in through this area.
Shield system online. Landing gear down.
The STA bar jump. Oh yeah. My plan. I'm planning on it. I got to get tickets for the for it. I gotta talk to my wife, because, like, the big thing is I need to plan out when I go, because I think I'm going to use that time to go visit family after that.
Landing complete.
Blocked. Interesting.
Quantum fuel is at 100%. Engines offline.
Well, all of our power lines are underground. That's also a problem when you have a big storm, because there's this thing called flooding. Doesn't happen a lot, but it can happen, especially if there's, like, lightning hits a relay station or something like that. No, they're completely out, I'm pretty sure. But I was given I gotta double check with Grim, because the idea was that he was going to have me be part of the program. That they're gonna do like a content creators panel, and they wanted me on as part of the content creators panel. So less of a more of a help out with the con than it is buy tickets to the con. Yeah. So I gotta confirm with Grim about that and make sure. It's like, I can buy tickets if you need to, but
Engines online.
also there's often almost no soil over the bedrock in places around here. Yeah, in Texas. Yeah, especially Hill Country. All right, I'm gonna go to one of the closest. Let's go to the breaker station, see if I can't find there.
Shield system offline. Quantum drive is now on. Landing gear up.
Demand M&M's or something. Hey, Renegade, how you doing, bud? Side question. When are you gonna get back to Stompy Mechs? I dusted off Mech Warrior 5 because of your recent videos. The plan is I'm gonna do some. I'm gonna probe Loken and see if we can't do some on Monday and next Friday. But next Friday at the latest is when we're gonna come back to Mech Warrior 5. No, I mean up here on the rock. Oh. Oh, yeah. No, I get what you're saying. Wait.
Quantum fuel is at 7.
That can't be. This has got to be like. This has got to be like Hold on, I'm gonna show this chat. This has got to be AI, right? Someone just told me this is the Basher. This looks like it could be the Basher. I just don't know what the fuck this stuff is right here. Is it someone used AI to figure out what the Basher is? Like they always goddamn do these days. That's good. Yeah, see, that's the thing. This would be a brand new ship from the ground up for Greys, if it's not the thing that was already in Squadron. Debris. It's from the 4.9 news screen. Oh, is it? So I guess it's real. Interesting. All right. Huh. That's interesting then. So we still have the two Greys market ships that they showed off a while ago for Squadron are still out in the wild. Aluminum. There we go.
Shield system online.
Scan is pretty quick. All right. I just got to get iron. Interesting. I don't need to remember numbers anymore. I'm excited. Game changing for minding. Oh, okay. So what you're trying to say is that mining is just better now? They've made it so like the lasers are more powerful? Why do people still care about ships? Because Star Citizen is a ship game. I'm gonna head to where's the closest station? Too far away. I'm gonna have to head back to Pyro Station, I think. Yeah. Then I'll head to Levski and then
Shield system offline.
we helping over today? No, I'm just testing out. People said they've changed the
Quantum drive is now
mining power and scanning. And yeah, they've definitely improved and quickened scanning process. Like just the regular scanner will pick up things much faster. And the mining seems like you can actually use the mining head now, rather than having to like go get a mole and then get people to actually do any mining. Am I checked out of Star Citizen? Kind of, but it's not because I'm like not interested in Star Citizen. It's more that I am trying to not just do Star Citizen. Contrary to popular belief, you know, I have other things I do in life. Other than this.
at 15%.
And like I want to branch out and do more lore stuff for other franchises, for other videos like that. Yeah, they're doing MechWarrior 5, for instance, which is really fun. I also, you know, do Warhammer 40k stuff. I have a wife. I have a job. You're a teacher, though. You get summers off. Exactly. And sometimes I want to do something other than Star Citizen. They up their game for quality of life of miners. Makes me think they actually listen to our feedback. I imagine, like, this is going to sound horribly cynical, but they kind of had to. 4.8 was such a disastrous PR nightmare that they had to pause and sit back and be like, okay, we got to fix the game because we're losing players. I imagine because they talk about retention so much and like how much time people are playing in the game, that's a big metric for them. I imagine what happened is that 4.8 had a huge resurgence of people coming back because of the wipe, and they were like, oh shit, this is great. And then the nosedive it took after 4.8 was such a bad release. They were like, oh, we need to solve the problems. And that's why they like spent a bunch of time trying to fix the Ironclad, because they were like, oh no, we fucked up this release pretty hard. We need to try to salvage this. And I imagine 4.1 or 4.81, 4.82, and now 4.83 have shown probably downward trend in terms of engagement compared to last year. And as a result, they're almost certainly going, what do we need to do? And so the people who have been saying, you need to actually like listen to feedback and start working on the quality of life issues with the game if you want to get these people back. They probably were like, all right, fine, here's your...
Down. Landing complete.
Here's your chance, fix the problems, and maybe if you can fix those retention. That would be my best guess. Because there's two things that are reality that I don't think a lot of the loudest folks in the Star Citizen community understand, which is this game is not a combat game. This game is played by people as an industry game with combat attached. Whether CIG likes it or not, that's the situation they're in currently.
Your systems are offline.
Oops.
Hello and welcome aboard your dream interplanetary craft. Your systems are online.
Absolutely breaking your immersion right now.
Complete.
That's my job.
Shield system offline.
A refill there, and then go hunting around the ring where they are.
Quantum drive is now on. Landing gear.
Them changing that one thing makes me way more excited to play than Siege of Orison ever did. That's good. The question still becomes, though, why mine? Like, what's the purpose of mining? What does it do? Like, why should you choose mining over combat? It's like, yeah, it should be fun, clearly. But the question is, what's the progression for mining? Like, what's the goal for mining? That still is missing. So while this is probably a good quality of life increase for people playing the game, you'll get bored of it in 2 to 3 months and go back to being, okay, well, what else is going to happen? Crafting. I love me some kick-ass gear. Why do you need kick-ass gear, though? What do you need kick-ass gear in order to accomplish?
Quantum fuel is at 75%.
Like I said before, CIG couldn't put an ice cream man mission at Microtech, where you could walk around town and sell ice cream without be careful. There might be gangs. Oh yeah. CIG has to add combat to all of their missions. You don't need kick-ass gear to kick ass, though. You just need gear. My point being, first of all, mining is fine, and if mining is simply feeds into crafting, then everyone who wants to get gear needs to be a miner, which means this is a mining game. And if it feeds into crafting, then there's got to be a reason for you to craft. I'll explain it in looking at other crafting games loops, like as simple as something like Minecraft, right? Minecraft, you start off with some basic tools and basic things to do, but as you find new materials to mine, those materials can be used to make and improve your current materials so that you're mining more efficiently, that you're harvesting more efficiently. And then there are other things that are put into the way, like you have to get food, you have to have shelter, in order like a place to rest, so you don't have to deal with the dangers of the world. But it's a progression up so that you can get more and more things to survive more and more problems. And the more places you can go to get better gear, the more dangerous those places become. Until you reach the end game, which is literally called the end, where you have to fight the Ender Dragon, right? And pretty much every survival crafter has that loop. Now, I know Star Citizen isn't a survival crafter, but there should be a reason why you craft that gear. If it's to look cool, then it needs to be able for you to craft look cool shit. What's the point of mining in the real world? There are materials out there that people want without doing the work. For sure. But usually it's much more difficult. I also encourage engaging UEX market and lucrative high materials. Card 5e selling for good money and fighting people there. You better have a crafted gun and you have a better chance of success. But then why fight in the first place? Like, what's the value in fighting? You see what I'm saying? Like, there needs to be a full loop. So that you could make some low-value ores necessary for high quantities or for base building. Yeah, but we don't have base building yet. Mining needs to feed into landing zone infrastructure. That too. My point is that the way CIG currently has everything set up works for how to play the game right now. But you're going to come back to the same problem in 3 to 6 months when you've mined everything, you've got all the mineral materials you need, and then you've got all of the crafted materials you have. You've crafted all the things you want. Like, the fact that there's a UEX and there's not like an actual location where you can go sell materials like you should be able to in game is also a problem. Like, that should be a thing in game.
Landing complete.
What I'm saying is they're kind of putting a band-aid on a bullet hole. I'm glad it's improved and it'll probably get more people to play, but at that point it's just it's a slot machine. It's a pachinko machine.
Engines offline.
No, it isn't. I can go to a wholesale distributor and get iron ore. What are you talking about? Yeah, but someone had to have pulled that iron ore out of the ground. If that's what you're referring to.
Engines on.
Someone had to put in work for it.
Fuel is at 100%. Launch complete. Landing gear up.
Yeah, you're right. The degradation of items, better quality, lesser degradation. That would be great, but we don't have that yet. What we need is a reason to have fancy gear. It's like, oh, well, they want to fight better. Okay, well, then there needs to be something worth fighting over that is the reason why you pull out your fancy gear to go fight. Rekko, yeah, Rekko is a new Wicklow. She will, when you work with her, she will eventually give you a fancy mining ship. I'm in this asteroid field, and there are no fucking asteroids. What the hell is going on? Is this a bug? It's supposed to be a bug. Because I'm not picking up any asteroids whatsoever. It's still pointing me back to that previously identified location. Hathor is a reason to fight high-grade materials from there. Definitely worth fighting over, in my opinion. But what do those materials get you? I've done that. This is scan. This is nav. Still, I think it's a bug. Because it's still, like, locking me onto that, even though all of those were asteroids. What I'll do is I'll land at the station, and I'll, like, send it down and then pull it back up. Ultimately, as a contractors, the only in-universe reason we need is client wants quantity of ore, and no further reason is necessary. It'd be greatly desired for more world building, but I get it. You can get you can make a better rad suit out of Selendium, which helps farm worm better. But why would you want to farm the worm? You need to complete the loops, is my point. I'm not saying you should feel bad, Idiocracy. What I'm saying is I'm glad this fix has come in, but I'm still concerned about the overall end goal. Like, one of the things that they also need to do, in my opinion, is allow for the loot that spawns in to be high-quality ores. So instead of just random materials and components, it should also be high-quality ore, and the components you loot should be high-quality components that you could either recycle to get the material out or use because they're higher tier. Sorry, materials from Hathor really only benefit larger groups, which makes it difficult to get these resources for smaller groups. I mean, that's true, too. Worm fights get you ships if the quest turn-ins. And what do ships give you? What do those ships give you? Screenshots. And it needs to get these materials from other sources like salvaging, etc. Why fight the worm? Because some jackasses made an Irradian Valkar and cut it loose in a habitable, barely planet. Well, then that barely habitable planet should have a mission or some sort of need for players to come in and kill the fucking giant irradiated Valkar. Enjoyment in playing and love of the grind. So it's just grinding, which is fine. But I don't think that's not a good end game loop. This is problematic. It's still busted. It's still showing me that. So I'm just gonna edit. I think this is a bug. It's kind of like you're arguing it's the point of playing video games. What's the point of playing the game for enjoying or playing the game? No, I mean, let me put it this way. What is the goal of Star Citizen? Because use the argument of fighting the worm or Hathor and all that kind of stuff, which is fine. That sounds like it's a game where you play with other people. It's a big, you get in a group of big people and you go off and fight stuff together and then get rewards individually for your group. That sounds like a co-op game. To be a space sim. But what's a space sim? The questions will continue until satisfying answers provided. Well, I'm doing the Socratic method a little bit, and it's going to sound like I'm being a jackass, but my point is that none of us can fully define Star Citizen, and as a result, it's hard to justify what's going on. It's kind of like asking what is the goal of life? Not really. Like, if Star Citizen is a life sim, in the sense you're supposed to just a sandbox where you can do everything, where are the sandbox? Where's base building? Where's, expanded crafting? Where's dynamic economy? Where is players being able to fight over locations? Where is, reputation? Where is increased scanning? If it's a combat sim, it still needs a heavily updated combats, but it's clearly not a combat sim because a lot of people like to do mining. So this is a mining sim? No, because you use the mining so you can get materials to do combat. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully coming, but that's the problem, and that's really where it comes into. The question for the cap table today is, can you survive off of the list of things that need to happen not coming for the next year? It just seems to me that CIG pivot away from sandbox to more theme park. With theme parks have loops that tie into themselves. With WoW, for instance, you go off and do quests so you can get gold, and that gold can then purchase you new items. And you can also get materials with that to use that for crafting while you're out, and then you can use that crafting to get improved gear. You go out and do more stuff so you can improve more gear, and you need to get more improved gear because you face bigger, stronger enemies. And as you level up and as you go into harder locations, you need better stuff. And to get better stuff, you often have to go face harder enemies. It's a constant loop of you continue to progress, until you reach the end game. And that the end game is raids or whatever, but there is some sort of larger end goal where your skill matters a lot. Maybe I'm just too good at the game. Maybe I'm just too talented, but there's not a lot of challenge in Star Citizen right now. And there doesn't seem to be any sorts of scaling challenge. With a centralized trading system, crafting would make more sense for selling high quality items, but by being able to put a handle on the item. Now your character becomes a famous crafter. Yeah, I mean, that's a sandbox thing. It's still really early for that sort of interconnectedness. They're still at the dev stage of proof of concept. The tech is still being implemented. I'm going to say it, and it's going to sound really shitty, but 15 years into development, let's be kind. 10 years into development, and they're still at proof of concept? Like, they're about to release Squadron 42 sometime between now and next year. And they're still at proof of concept? Now, I refuse to believe that CIG is still at proof of concept phase. I think they've got their technology, server meshing. The problem they have right now is they're focusing on the wrong issues. They're focusing on scaling. They're trying to scale this up so that it's bigger and bigger and bigger, rather than focusing on, now that they've got all the fundamental technologies, to implement the features. They started that this year, which is good. Crafting is fantastic. It gives so much more meaning to the missions, so much more meaning to miners. It does make a lot of combat people pissed off because they're like, this is just a mining game now. I don't want to fucking mine. But then, like, there were like 3 things that would improve the game significantly in terms of its ability for people to come on and play on a regular basis, and to allow for things like individual play and also group play to matter co-equally. Number 1 is social tools, which is what players have been asking forever. Having the ability to be able to track people together, so that you can have the basic MMO tools that almost every other group, everything has. Doesn't have to be perfect, but some basic tools like better, like a guild system, so you can, or an org system where you can actually know where your org members are, new chatting systems, better UI, just so you can identify players, that kind of stuff. And then number 2, sort of connected to that, is a market system, a player market system. So players can sell items on a market, and let the players decide that sort of thing. Share all mission button, share route with group button, that kind of stuff, yeah. Let me tell you, feels good harvesting the worm without having to cool down or worry about raids for Icties, many ships from Wicklow, and money from player market on UEX. Feels good to me, not perfect, but good. That's the problem, is that I haven't played like fighting the worm, because I'm just like, what's the point of fighting the worm? Because it takes 7 people to fight the worm, and then once those 7 people are done, you have to divvy up the spoils between 7 people, so you can't really use the materials to get Wicklow because you'll need to do it like 17 times. Better believe he will go and protect them when they need it, so win-win for him and them. Yeah, but it'll protect his people. That's not really what you're pushing for, Idiocracy, is you're pushing for a guild, a cooperative, big group game, like a Battlefield but expanded, rather than what a lot of people want, which is also single player accessible, like players can play alone online, alone together kind of thing, and then also play in smaller groups and such. The last thing I think they really need to do is change their loot pools to have high value material in all of the sort of previously added loot gear stuff. So for instance, contested zones should have ore, like materials which are high value materials. So high quality iron and selenium, or like rare materials that are also high quality, on top of its components, and those components should also be high tier components. I solo Worm in the suit. No need for 7 people. How do you solo the Worm? That sounds like just like a sit there and shoot at it for 40 minutes. That also is a problem. I'm just thinking about it now. Wait, you solo the Worm? Then the Worm isn't difficult enough. It needs to be harder for you to not be able to solo it. Especially if it has materials required to get better gear. Sit by the upstairs railing with a sniper rifle for 40 minutes. Oh, so you can cheese it, is what you're telling me. All right, I'll be right back and get some water. But, like I said, the topic of today is, do you have faith that CIG is going the right direction with 4.9 and in the future? Sounds like Idiocracy is totally down with it. You still have the possibility of someone wrong coming and stealing it from you. Yeah, that's been my problem. It's not just that it's 7 people. It's 7 people plus you have people just walking up and punching you in the dick and taking your shit from you. That's been the other big problem, is that having a group is important, because if you don't, you just get shit stolen from you, or people just wait at the exit and steal the Worm pieces from you when you try to leave. I run up to it with my crafted parallax. It does massive damage when close. I was only able to solo done with the better gear. And you've never been trolled with it? Never been had people fuck with you? That sounds like you had the perfect. You never got ninja'd? Oh, I have been stolen from, but I've stolen from people and from people there and had fun both ways. It sounds like you're having a great time, Idiocracy. So you can come on to the captain's table today and talk about how you think the future is looking bright for Star Citizen. I clearly am not as optimistic, but I'm also of the opinion that CIG has the problem where they're like, this game is for everyone. And then they spend time making the game for like this group. And then when they focus on this next group, the group they just focused on goes, but my game. And then once they move on to the next group, the other group goes, but my game, you know? I've also, the one and only time I've dealt with Wicklow, he ate all my materials and didn't give me what I wanted. So I was like, man, fuck this man. Which is also a problem. Wicklow sucks currently and needs to be improved. I'll be right back. I think it's looking good, but I don't engage with all these events and theme park rides. Ugh. I've been a crafter since SWG. I just love the grind, finding blueprints, mining high quality materials, and crafting the desired items. Maybe for having an edge in PvE combat, or to sell, just like the loop. Well, that's the other thing is like I could see them adding. I could see them adding, like quests, like missions, for you to go turn in to get this specific item to go turn it in. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you know, the People's Alliance wants this specific quality, like shield from this specific for this specific shields. It's got to be above this, you know, to give something for crafters to do that aren't just already part of a huge org that's feeding them materials. The problem is that doesn't exist. Like, I've joked about this before, but CIG could easily do like an event that is just war effort goals. You know, like shit's going wrong. We need to have we need to replenish supply. We need you, the UEE citizen, to provide us with these materials, or these guns, or these components, you know, like that. And people will just go, okay, cool, I'm gonna go mine, or I'm gonna go craft some shit. The problem though is whatever you craft, next patch that craft item goes back to 500 quality until a new LTP entitlement database or is put in or whatever. Yeah, that's a long-term problem. It needs that. Yeah, feel free to make sure I have the Discord in my link in the description there, Idiocracy on YouTube. It'll be on the Discord, so feel free to come in on that one. I quit for 3 years. Give it some time. I'll give it some time. Just came back with the Raylan release. Game still has mostly the same issues, but with the R added, I'm back for good. Also feel like this is the best hope for Star Wars Galaxies 2. That's true. I remember in Star Wars Galaxies, if you wanted to Mando armor, you'd have to grind your ass off, which is fine. But like, there was a reason for Mando armor. It wasn't just that it looked cool. It actually had value. Oh, excuse me, sir. All right, let's pull classic black out. You saw Tencent bought the PlanetSide 2 IP? Oh, interesting. Like a version of Resource Rush. Yeah. And the thing is and another thing that CIG is missing, I think, for like the average crafter / player, is weekly missions. You can, because the thing about weekly missions is you can recycle them. This invite expired? Okay. Let me see if I can't give y'all a link to. go. There you go. A guy who loves Contested Zone, specifically Ruin, and he's perfectly content with farming card fives all day, which he sells and allows him to do what he loves to making credits. Well, that's the question: aren't exec hangers broken? Because last I heard, contested zones don't work. Like, you can get to the end and there's no loot. No execs work? Okay. Maybe just there were some problems with 4.8 that they don't always work. There's no component spawn. So it's just the ship. Okay. This is gonna be bad because I only have a pistol with like one magazine.
Great. Thanks for picking that up. Your systems are online.
Card 5 is used for more than exec hangers. What's card 5? I'm not familiar with. You keep saying card 5. I'm like, what is that? Because I'm used to the like, what are they called? The things you use for the exec hanger. Oh, is it specifically card number 5 that you need for Wicklow comp board? Ah, I see. I mean, the whole point for doing them was to comps, let others collect the cards. Which was for components. Besides exact runs, yeah, okay. Used to farm 05 boards, sold them for $1 million on a board on UEX, was profitable. Man, it sounds like this player market thing could be a thing in the fucking game. The cards only benefit one player, either exact hanger or Wicklow items. It's group content with individual awards. Yeah, but the argument that Idiocracy is saying is that with enough good equipment, you can solo that stuff anyway, so it's not even that much of an issue. That's the fucked up thing, is they don't need base building for player markets. What they need is better what they need is better back end and trading mechanics. Let's go to the front. I hate going to the front. Front. Buddy, what's up? That's right, run. God, this is such a mistake. Oh, perfect. No, let's see if I can finish this. That's my exit.
I'm pushing.
No grenades in this one.
It's on now. Moving up. Someone got knocked. Oh, I'm wounded.
Okay, I have to repair the power plant? How do we repair the power plant? Is there a component somewhere? Fuck. Okay, that seems to be broken. Is there an entrance on the outside? There's this guy. He doesn't have a combio. Maybe up here, you mean? Here we go. Okay. There we go. Yeah, you. Well, so I'm talking about that. Who's on? It's a call-in show, so you're on deck if you want to come in. Oh yeah, there's also guns on the cutlass. They have guns. Are you just? Oh, that's lame. That's really lame, CIG. Size 00 hostile. People's Alliance hat.
Contact. Let's go ahead and call that last job done.
Back to Levski. I don't mind it. I do think that they should let us move those boxes around, even if they're empty. Yes. Go to the captain's table live. I'll set it up right now. So I set up the stage, by the way, for y'all, so you can join us if you need to. I would say in a small groups of 2 to 3, sure, solo depends on the server, how the NPCs are and whether or not players are hunting them. I just want actual reasons to engage with content in the systems, and that's my point. Well, that's the endless. That was my what I was trying to get at, is that like in a sandbox there needs to be things that people can like goals that people can set for themselves to complete. And if you're not doing a sandbox, then you need to have goals that people can still achieve, that you can give them a path to do so. And the thing about those goals is they should be difficult. They should have some challenge to them. The fact that it's a low-level mission, but the fact that I could go in there with basically a basic pistol, they effectively laid out a mission where a person who's brand new can go get a gun that's literally laying on the deck of the entryway. And with a starter pistol and the gun they gave you, you can effectively beat the entire mission without much of a threat. That's sort of a problem. That's fine for what we have right now, but like, how does that scale? How does that mission that I just did scale? Because I don't think it does. And how would you scale that mission? Different ships, more enemies, harder enemies, but how do you make them harder? Do you make them smarter? Do you make them just make more of them? Iron Chad. Well, yeah, of course you'd have the Iron Chad is what would work for that. The problem about the Iron Chad is that there's a lot of open spaces in the Iron Chad and a lot of closed spaces. So the balancing issue could be just walk up and now suddenly you're dealing with like 2 super heavies shooting at you, like, so you're instantly dead because you're coming from a small choke point out to an open area. And there was no like urgency in this mission. It was just sort of like, hey, make sure you do this next thing, and there is no time, there's no like pressure, which is fine again for an intro mission, but maybe they should have some pressure there to up the challenge a little bit. That's of AI, kind of sort of like Shadows of Mordor. I mean, you could, but I mean, that's the thing, is like, I don't know the direction CIG is going. Because right now it's all the same AI systems across the board. And it seems like the real difficulty challenge is more just the number of AI. Because if they're going to create adaptive AI, they're going to have to actually develop more resources into adaptive AI. Or they could just do what most people do and sort of change the health pools and armor, so that early on you're only facing light armored enemies, and then later on you're facing more of a mixture of enemies, and the heavier armor is going to be a little more difficult to deal with. Hey, Bernard. light armored rookies and heavy armored veterans. I mean, like, this is just an example. Like, using what CIG has right now, they have super heavy, they have light, all like basically naked all the way up to super heavies. And what they could do is have a situation where your early missions, you're facing, like, low-level missions, you're facing basically nakeds. Think Nine Tails and just clothing kind of thing. And then as you go up in difficulty, as you go up in like how to deal with problems that they're being presented to you, it's not like the nakeds go away. Those naked, just barely clothed enemies are now supplemented with light armor and medium, heavy. So now instead of having to just deal with nakeds, you're dealing with nakeds and heavy armor. And then nakeds can run around faster because they're more nimble. They can flank you, while the big heavies can take your shots and then forcibly force you to pay attention to them. So they can stand out in the open and fire, while the nakeds do their best to maneuver around you and don't fire until they reach a certain point to get close to you. That's not necessarily adaptive AI, it's just AI having strategy. And then having to adapt to those strategy yourself in terms of how they approach. That would create a more dynamic environment.
Engines offline.
Space combat when you arrive first, timers. Yeah, those can work too, yeah. Have some sort of countdown timer where it's like, hey, we've got people arriving here shortly. We need you to get out within this amount of time, otherwise it's going to be bad. They already have some of those elements in the game for other missions, but like there's no consequence. They tell you that there's a timer. And there is sort of a timer because there's like, did they just store that on my own? They fucking, I hate this. Fucking hate this. Yeah, we're just playing around with that headshot. I'm gonna go buy some stuff real quickly. Let's put on some regular clothes to go shopping. Arc Corp jump. Ooh, neat. People's Alliance. Do I have no shoes? Well, they will fail you if you ambush early, but that's not good ship. That's in ship, not FPS. That's more like you wait until you like it. Just sit there and don't do anything for a while, rather than like, hey, meaningful choices. I've always liked this music. It's official, one bellissimo. They basically upped the lasers. So the laser for mining is much more powerful. Thus, basically any ship can mine now. And they've improved the scanning so it's significantly faster and more easier to read. I like the new scanning. It seems pretty intuitive. Even just the scanning mode will like start targeting and scanning things before you even like if you're within the range of it. If you're pointing your sensors, your ship at it. Well, I'm a miner, so I don't typically do a lot of mining, but from what I've heard is the mining was a pain in the ass in terms of trying to scan for materials. CIG. I need this. I got the boneyard. Do they have any of the other ones? Pulverizer here too.
Great. Let me take care of that. Nice one.
Seems legit. Yeah. Yeah, the delay for receiving minimal data, mineral data is way too long. Looks like they improved it. Yeah, they definitely popped up pretty quickly. When I got close to it, it was just like, boom, here you go. All right, let's see if they actually have the thing I like. Armor. First off, undersuits. Did you have the scale weave? Prefer the scale weave. Armor. Legs. They have links. They only have aqua. They have true def. It's my other option. I like true def. Or so. We have much here. It's the tailwind. Then helmet. Backpack side. Have the pick of the litter. Light, medium, medium. There you go. Right, these. Oh, weapons too. Do. Heal. I just need to get.
I've got it all and more. Trust, you have to see to believe.
It's here, I believe.
Shit for sale. Got shit for sale.
Shit for sale.
Whatever. Shit for sale. Got shit for sale.
Welcome, welcome. Have a look. Come on, come. I'm looking what happened.
I could have sworn there was a kiosk.
Passing on the deal. You want it? I got it. You there?
Whatever it is you want.
What's the good taste? I can tell.
Yeah, just this one, I guess.
going?
Hey, yeah, have a look around.
Excellent choice.
Do-do-do.
Have a look, come on. One look and
One more.
For sale. Got shit for sale.
I've got it all and more. Prices you have to see to
Fine.
believe.
Wear and tear.
Shit for sale. Got shit for sale.
You picked the good one. I'll have it sent to you shortly.
Alright, some other time then, you know, find got what you need. Guaranteed.
If you're looking for a good deal, you've come to the right place.
Whatever.
Good deal.
Shit for sale. Got shit for sale.
Passing on the deal of the century. No prices. High quality.
Hey, where are you going? Yeah, I love that line.
High prices. High quality.
Perfect time.
The capsule will be leaving the station momentarily.
See what else, what other missions she has. I don't have a lot of time to do stuff, but I do want to see what that opened up for. Talia, ship in distress. See that. Prestige 1 gets you a Drake Golem. Okay. Ah! Ah! Ha! 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 Okay. I'm starting to see it now. That makes sense. So, notice how they have standing and security separate. So, this is probably copium. Oh, hell yeah. Okay, mine might be back on the menu. Yeah, well, apparently it's just better overall. So, notice, if you see what they're seeing here, chat, here's the thing that's important to note. CIG at one point said they wanted to try to streamline reputation. And so they wanted, and so as as a result, they took out negative reputation. Now, the concern was that the way they were talking about it was like everything would pull into the major reputation for the major guilds. And what I'm starting to see here is that they may not be pulling reputation into the major guilds. What they may be doing is making sure that the entirety of the reputation system. So, like, you have Foxwell enforcement, and you might have security, you might have mercenary, or whatever. There might be like 4 different sections of Foxwell enforcement you're working with, and each of those sections will pool into your standing. So if you're very positive with them in one part and very negative with them with another part, it would equalize the standing. Now, there is still options of neutral, There still could go away with negative reputation entirely, but this is more moving towards the like we're doing the standing with each individual group inside the org of the guild will determine what rank you are in the guild, and so you have to work with a bunch of different groups to be able to get higher ranking in the guild, which gives you more access to different locations. All right. Back to my hangar and see what's going on. There still, I think, needs to be negative reputation because they're also, if you notice the reputation status, it says neutral. No, I think that's because there is no way to climb the ranks yet. I haven't climbed the rank stuff, and it'll probably change as it goes along. Oh, look, she's only 16 years old, or 13 years old. Looking rough for a 13-year-old, but yeah, I get the idea. Hey, their headquarters in Hurston. Nice. By Army veteran Miles Eckhart. Eckhart Security offers a wide variety. All right, I don't really have a lot of time left. I can't really do anything, but we'll see what the other options are. Courier, bounty hunter, investigation. Deliver. It's a lot of save ship. What's the unverified? Dead Hunters, Dead Saints, Pit Zeros. Yeah, like, look at Fallout New Vegas. There was independent variables for reputation and infamy. You could do lots of good stuff to make the faction like you, but if you also did bad stuff previously that didn't like, it would factor into your final standing with that faction. The issue that CIG was talking about was there were too many independent factions that were to cause too much variety. One of the things that was happening is you fail one mission from Crusader Security, and now suddenly they were hostile to you, even though you had positive reputation with like Crusader shipping and like trading. And so it would lock people out of being able to play the game, which they didn't like. That was the official standing of what the reason why they got rid of negative reputation. I still think negative reputation is required to make the game tolerable, because negative reputation is a barrier that forces players to flee certain parts of the game. As long as there are methods upon which you can improve that reputation. Oh. The Thane of Thane problem. I'm with the Imperial Legion. Oh, what the hell? Let me go join the Stormcloaks. What could possibly go wrong? Yeah, that's the problem with it. I'll put it this way. The problem with reputation is that if you don't use it properly, it becomes pointless. So why have it at all? Because you could replace reputation for a leveling system, and that would be, the same. Not even a leveling system, just like a progression track. Reputation needs to be more than just a progression track. It shouldn't just be a, way to track how close you are to ultimate goal at bottom of line. It should have benefits, and it should also have drawbacks. Yeah, it shouldn't be a progress meter. And so far, CIG seems to be treating it like a progress meter. My lighting is very off. I'm going to change some of the color corrections, but... some still seems to be off. It's not letting me do video changes. This was a little off. Better trade prices with your friends, better blueprints, safety in their space, trust when you commit a crime, trust when you commit a crime, and the exact opposite in space in friendly faction. Exactly. So, reputation needs to be, at its core, a system that functions for the player and affects the player. So, at its basic, it should be, should the faction treat you right or treat you wrong? And as you improve in one faction or another, that should increase the amount of things you get for that faction. So, let's use Crusader as the example. When you're at neutral, you get the same treatment as everybody else. But when you go from neutral to acquaintance, let's just say we have levels of positive being neutral, acquaintance, friendly, allied, right? And then we have the opposite side of disliked, shunned, hated, and enemy. And on the positive side, you have, when you reach the acquaintance, the camera looks awful. I don't know what's going on here. Deactivate it, reactivate it. Okay, something went wrong. Oh, okay. I can't seem to configure the video either. for whatever reason. So positive acquaintanceship, you get a slight discount on buying stuff, like a 10% discount on buying stuff. So now you are going to go to Crusader or to Crusader facilities whenever you want to buy something, because if they have it, you can get a discount on it. Then you get to Light, I think I said. Light gives you not just discounts, but also gives you a call for aid button, right? Now you can, when you call for aid, if you like call for help, Crusader security is more likely to help. Yeah, feel free to brandish guns. Maybe you can carry guns around in inside the facilities as well. And then friendly, you get free or discounted services. So not just like shops, but going to get like repairs, refuel, rearm, you get discounts for some of those, and sometimes you get them free. Also, hey Dakota. And you get access to certain levels or to certain missions you wouldn't get otherwise. And then allied, you get like free refuels, refits, and rearms at Crusader security or Crusader locations. You get your own home in Orison, right? A free home that you get in Orison for your apartment. You get priority help. If you call for help, they will prioritize helping you, coming out with you. Your discounts will just get bigger, right? And then on the opposite side, because now that you're allied with Crusader, or you're friendly with Crusader, you drop down the ranks for any of Crusader's foes. So what is Crusader's main enemy? The Ninetales. So the hostile factions, the pirate factions and the outlaw factions will dislike you. So the Ninetales, they go to whatever I said, like -1 rep bar. And that means that you can still show up their facilities, but they're going to charge you extra money. And then if you go up to the light status by Crusader, you drop to -2 status of Ninetales. And the Ninetales will then, instead of just giving you negative for like you charge you more for stuff, they also charge you more for services. And then you go beyond that, you start to become like friendly with the Crusader. Ninetales will randomly show up to attack you. You're still welcome at their services, but you're going to pay more and more money, and they're just going to randomly punch you in the face. And you're expected to take it, you know. And then you reach hated, when you become allied with Crusader, you reach hated with the Ninetales. Now you can't show up their facilities at all. They will shoot you on sight. We charge an asshole fee for goody goods. Might not want to help set that stupid corpse so much. And that would be like a quick, you would add that to, if you wanted to do that as a simple solution, is every time you go to land at a facility that is owned by sources, the people that like you, then the ATC would be like, oh, it's you. Yeah. Oh, I've been hearing good things about you. Keep it up, you know? And if they don't like you, you get that like, oh, it's you. We don't like you around here. You can land, but just be careful, you know? Well, we just saw Dakota, because I was looking at the 4-9, looking at the how they do reputation with the with Foxwell. They have like a individual like Foxwell divisions, and then they have an overall division. The overall like reputation with that group. And that reputation, it's clear that like what they're trying to lay it out is that each group will have its own reputation, and then those reputations will feed into the overall guild reputation. So just because you have a negative reputation with the Ninetales doesn't necessarily mean that the guild doesn't like you. But the more outlaws you piss off, the more the guild doesn't like you. So instead of it being a A to B switch, where it's like we either like you or dislike you, it's cumulative buildup of reputation will affect the wider reputation. And that's just flavor text VO. I haven't coded stuff in decades, and I could work that out easily. And if rep were in a database to access, yeah. The idea is instead of, because like before they had like micro reputation, so like your reputation with individual organizations would then flip against other organizations. So like you'd have allies and enemies, and that became really complicated. So what I think what they were trying to say when they were talking about simplifying it is all of these groups are under this umbrella, all of these groups are under this umbrella. So now your individual reputation with these groups doesn't affect the overall reputation with all of these other groups. It will affect only certain diametrically opposed groups, and that won't affect your ability to access locations or services until you reached a higher point. Yeah. It's the key is to separate local from galactic reputation. They're consolidating the various said factions to hierarchical trees. Exactly. Which will pull into the larger group, which allows you... The one thing, though, is it's still needed is negative reputation. But yeah, so far we haven't gotten much of reward for reputation other than getting a new mission from them to do. I don't, but I think they're changing that with Rekko and her vehicles you can earn. I think that's part of it, but I also think that the problem is right now is it's their approach to reputation is just, it's just a progression meter. It's just line go up rather than being anything that's meaningful. And there's no point in doing a reputation meter if it's just progression. Just call it a progression meter and be done with it. So, like, reputation actually has to have some bite. I want to earn a Kovalex paint for my C1, for example. Yeah, and you should be able to earn the ability to purchase that paint. Because it's like, oh yeah, cool. Now you have access to our paint shop. Here's all of this, the paints we have for our systems. I'd love to have for a spontaneous attack from an opposing guild faction while doing a mission in their space. I mean, like, MechWarrior does something like that with, where, like, if you're operating in a mission, you do a mission in a certain region where mercenaries are, there's, like, a chance that those mercenaries will show up and attack you before the mission starts, or the mercenaries will show up and be like, hey, we're your backup for this mission. We got paid for those same people, sort of thing. And that adds in a little bit more of a oh shit kind of situation. All right, so we're gonna get set up here. I already have it working. So I've got I have the Bankius, Simon Wolf, and Cody Fox here in the audience. If you want to join me for this call-in show, make sure you join the Discord and go to the Captain's Table Live. And if you're like, well, I can't see it, I don't see where it is, just hop into the live audio section and I'll pull you down. So, but we'll get started here in about 20 minutes. So you still have some time to join us. But the topic is going to be effectively, we'll talk about Star Citizen as I've kind of generally been doing, which is like, what's the state of the verse? Like, what's your thoughts on the state of the verse? My point about for today is more of a, like, what are your thoughts on 4.9 and the future? Do you have faith in the future of Star Citizen and the immediate future? Hi all, how are you? I'm ready for my Saturday evening portion of lore directly streamed from the Lore Master. Well, we're not really going to be talking about lore necessarily today. We'll be talking more about the game, but hopefully you'll stick around for some of this. We'll be doing more lore stuff here in the future. At the moment, I just do pretend rescue missions where I set large ships on fire, wait for a while for temps to be like 3,000 degrees, and then really, really smoky before I set out a beacon, and people who show up go, what the hell happened here? The scanning changes might be the best quality of life they did for 4.9. And simply just making it faster to do stuff. Oh, yeah. So for those of you who don't know, that was recently pushed in the last couple of patches where they've improved the scanning system and improved the mining and scanning with mining. So right now, if you turn on to scan mode and you're like, just go out into space and start boosting towards like unknown signatures, if you have scanning mode on, as you approach the unknown signature, it will literally scan that location. It will lock on. It won't lock on like you hit with a lock, but it will like track what you're looking at the unknown location and actively scan it for you. You don't even have to press a button. It will actively scan. And so there's no more like, as long as you have the scanning mode on, it will automatically scan things around you. And also, if you lock onto a, or if you point your mining mode, you point your laser at an object, it will automatically scan that object, and it will scan pretty quickly and fairly quickly update what's going on. Hey, Shem. Highlight your message. What? I can't do that. You did it already. That's fine. Now they just need to do long range scanning that's easy to use, and it'll be a good mining loop. Plus adjust the bell curve per system. I could see things like long range scanning doesn't work in mining belts or in like asteroid belts, so it's harder to reach that location. But yeah, who are the guests today? You are, Shem. If you want to join us, we'll be doing the call-in show today. We'll get started here in about 15 minutes. So jump on the Discord if you want to join in on the show. Hey, Rusty. I'm amazed that the scanning changes are not in the patch notes. But I have theories about why. What's your theories? Has there been talk about alien mining ship coming to the game? There's never been talk that I've seen specifically, though players have talked about wanting an alien mining ship for a long time. And so I wouldn't be surprised. There is also another alien ship in development, so I wouldn't be surprised if we got a, for instance, mining version of the Raylan, which would be more popular than the T. Louis. I mean, the Vandals will have the Harvester. Yeah. So those on YouTube, we're going to be moving over to the Captain's Table YouTube, but I'll move us over there in about like 15 minutes or so, but it should automatically move you over. I feel they didn't put the scanning changes into the patch notes because the issues with scanning have been a huge complaint of the community for a long time, and I think there can be that can be an ego thing of CIG not wanting to make a big deal when the community is right about something. So you think it's CIG is quietly putting it out there because they don't want to admit they fucked up, and so they're just putting it out there as a means of saying, "Here, you fine, you dumbasses. Here, you get what you want, but I'm not gonna tell you about it." Maybe. But the thing is that that's dumb because CIG would know that players would automatically make a big deal about it and be like, "Thank you, CIG, for changing it." I think the reality is that there's just a lot of stuff that gets added to the game that CIG doesn't feel as important. Oh, it sounds an awful lot like projection there. We're talking between YouTube and Twitch. That's the reason why. I think the CIG just has a lot of stuff they don't feel is important enough for patch notes that got changed. That are sort of minor, and like honestly, scanning and mining is really, that change is relatively minor. It's big for miners in general, people who go out to go mining, but it's sort of a revert rather than a new feature. It's just really weird that something of this magnitude is not in the notes. It's a huge change for miners. It's a huge quality of life improvement for miners, but it's not, I wouldn't say it's a huge change. I keep forgetting to do this now that I see Zanman in the audience, because I talked about this on Sunday and I meant to talk about it on Thursday, but I've just not put everything up there. For those of you who don't know, I am working with Zanman, who is the creator of something called Starcoms. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong there, Sandman. The full name of it. It always erases me. Yeah, Starcoms. It is a third-party application which I think connects with Discord, because my org has been using it for a couple of weeks now. They've talked about it and talked about how it still has some problems, but it is a very effective tool for people who need to use. It's Star Citizen is its main projection, but it's not like linked to Star Citizen for any ways. It's just sort of allows for like tiered communications. Let me read the whole spiel. Discard for OAuth, but it's a separate audio platform. We use high quality Opus audio, so technically it's clearer than Discord, technically. Okay. But you can connect it to Discord, so you can create tiered communications, which is one of the things that my org had been looking at doing forever. It's the reason why we use TeamSpeak, was because it allowed for tiered communication, so that different leaders of different groups could talk with each other without the massive group all talking at once around each other. So Zanman approached me recently and was like, hey, do you want to be a sponsor, or not sponsor, but like want us to sponsor you? And I'm like, we already use it and I like it. So yeah, sure. I'll promote the thing that my group already uses. So check it out. It is, let me get the full link for it. starcoms.org. Copy and paste it in different places. Exactly. So in essence, it's made to bind to whatever your existing infra as much as possible. With API, you can integrate into your websites, Discord bots, etc. Here you go. Take a look at it. And if you decide to get it and use it, there are premium features, and if you decide to get those premium features, you can get 10% off if you use discount code Astropub, or the Astropub. Discount code Astropub, all one word, all capital. Thank you, Zampton. It supports me. I get a bit of a cut from it. But like I said, it's one of those things when Zan approached me and was like, hey, I had already literally was like, oh, wait, we've already been using those features because my org has already been using those features. Now, it does still have some bugs, and they are working through it, and they're improving it. But I know SMB, Ryan, uses it and has talked about it. Mike uses it and talked about it. So, how is Rochester Bar Citizen, Jen? Victoria says hi. Nice, Victoria. We'll be starting the actual conversation here in about a couple minutes. So, hey, Bree. Right now, we still have Zanman, Cody Fox, and Debenicus. So Debenicus, make sure you're the first person up. So hopefully you're here. And then Cody Fox, and then Zan. We also have an open Discord for bug reports. So anyone who does have a bug or feature, let me know and I'll get working on it. So yeah. Yeah, the premium features are like centrally hosted or self-hosted. And the self-hosted lets you like have up to 50 different channels running. Do you need more callers? I came in for a little to pontificate about Vice Robert's faith. Feel free to come in if you want to. We definitely would need more callers. Right now we have 3, and I don't know if Dib is going to be here because he showed up like right away. So hopefully he is. And we usually take about 5 to 10 minutes per caller, so that would be 20 to 30 or 15 to 30 minutes. Really, what I want you all to think about, and feel free to tell me here, is like based off of 4.9, especially with this new like, hey, we've improved the quality of life for miners, for scanning and mining. Do you think 4.9 is a step in the right direction? And do you still have faith that CIG can improve and make this game in the near future? And I'm not talking about like, do you have faith of the heart for 2020, whatever the fuck, 2030 something for Star Citizen to be around? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about now that we're in the doldrums, we're in the middle of the down period of the year. And unfortunately, yes, this is a regular thing, especially for those of you who haven't been around for more than a couple of years. Last year was an anomaly, a fluke. The year before that was the same way. It was the doldrums in the summer, and the year before that, it's a consistent pattern where CIG sort of either drops the ball or doesn't plan around having a summer where they can have more engagement or improvement for the game. So that's the reason. Part of that is also the like a little bit of a clickbait. He's like, you have faith in Star Citizen, but it's also more of a like, do you believe this is the end? Not the end, but like, this is just going to keep happening? Or do you think that like CIG has identified the problems for 4.9, communicated what those problems are, has taken steps to start improving the process, and based off what we've seen with 4.9 and what they've the conversations they've had, do you think they're going to continue forward with these changes? Personally, I'm a little in between. There is a handful of people I trust when they open their mouths and say, well, we're going to do this for Star Citizen, and Benoit's one of them, because he's very earnest and honest about stuff. Chris Roberts himself could definitely call into the table if he wanted to. I don't know what he would talk about.
You can take away my spaceship. You can take away my space suit. You can even take away my space lasers.
No pew-pews.
But you can never,
ever
take away my space game.
Wahoo 127 just resubscribed for 58 months.
Thanks for that 58 months of support there, Wahoo. You're very important, Papa. Very impressive. Very interesting. This is probably you can bring that. Custom cheers and chat, y'all. Shouts and cheers. All right. If Sierra could call in and say, I don't know, I'm starting to have doubts with this project, I would have to be a little worried. All right. Let me get this set up and we'll get started. Thank you, Jarsky. I didn't even see that as I moved over. Thank you for that. 10 subs, you absolute mad lad. And Bree for that 101 months. All right, YouTube, I'm ending it and starting up the Captain's Table podcast, so you'll be sent over there.